Right now at 11, arsonist under arrest. How authorities track the man accused of deliberately setting multiple fires. Plus, new tonight, an invitation from Oregon senior senator to the president's border czar would spark the outreach in what could come next. And later, playing through the heartbreak of leaving his war-torn home.
It stinks that we had to have such a misfortune to get him here, but we are incredibly lucky to have him.
In tonight's Pacific Storyland, how a renowned artist from Ukraine is hoping you can help him rediscover the heart of his music. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko. First tonight, a man is under arrest accused of deliberately setting 3 fires that investigators say could have quickly spread. The fires burned through brush in the Bluff area of North Portland that overlooks Swan Island and the Willamette. Alma McCarty was out there this afternoon to check out the damage. Alma?
Yeah, David, thankfully the flames from these 3 small fires didn't spread, but given all that dry grass and vegetation, things could have gone much worse if fire crews didn't step in time.
Along the winding paths in this North Portland park,
The Bluff is the Bluff, man. I guess now it's called the Dog Bowl.
visitors Thursday afternoon might have seen evidence of small fires in the grass and brush.
That's fearful. That's crazy. And on top of that, it's summertime. It's way too hot for anybody to be setting anything right now.
But that's exactly what fire officials say happened Thursday morning. Crews showed up on scene around 11:15.
As they're arriving, they see an individual leaving one of the existing locations of flame in a hurry, looking rather suspicious.
A suspect later arrested and identified as 41-year-old Joel Epwan allegedly set 3 fires in an area filled with vegetation and fuels. Rick Graves with Portland Fire and Rescue says on top of that, the park's often filled with people.
There's a well-known unhoused population, and then there's many, many homes that sit at the top of the bluff just on the other side of a bank of trees.
A day prior, the same station that responded here tackled another vegetation fire near Delta Park. While Graves says they're unaware of the cause of this one, he says the similar situation posed similar challenges.
Accessing some of these vegetation fires is a little bit difficult. It isn't like we're driving up on a roadway, there's a hydrant to attach to, and there's a structure sitting right there. It isn't part of a designed area. It's open space.
As the weather warms and wind picks up, firefighters continue to push fire safety and vigilance.
Just be cautious when you're utilizing any open flame for whatever purpose. We're all in this together.
Portlanders like Natasha Green feel the same way.
I thank God that they were able to catch him and they were able to get it out, because they've all been spreading.
That North Portland park, it is designated, Graves says, as protected property, which led investigators to hand down more serious charges of first-degree arson. The suspect's first appearance in court is set for tomorrow afternoon. David?
As he said, we're all in this together. Thanks, Alma. Well, to a weather impact alert now as we keep a close eye on some hot weather that is moving in next week. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Matt Zafino with an update. Matt?
Thanks, David. Yeah, we'll definitely feel the warm up begin tomorrow, but the really hot weather comes around the middle of next week, although there are some potential improvements in this forecast too. But we've got weather impact alerts for Tuesday and Wednesday because of the excessively hot weather. So you want to think about now about making plans so you don't have to overexert outside on those days. And as always, keep an eye on the elderly. May not have that. Make sure they have access to cooling if they are inside. Right now, with that full moon up in the sky too, just beautiful. It's 68 degrees in Portland and the winds are light. But we are looking at this excessively hot weather for a couple days next week. And the nights will be very warm too, which means we don't cool off overnight. That just keeps it more uncomfortable in homes that don't have air conditioning. The record highs for Tuesday and Wednesday will not be achieved. Those are 103 and 104, but still, doesn't need to get that hot to be uncomfortably hot, and we're headed for a couple of days next week just like that. And then there's the extreme heat watch, which is already up for the Portland area and the Gorge from noon Tuesday until Wednesday night at midnight basically. And down in Southern Oregon, while we'll be up around 100, they may be up around 110 down in the Rogue Valley. And then there's this. We'll explain what caused that dirt devil to form down in Newburgh today. David?
Great video. Thanks, Matt. To get you caught up on tonight's other headlines now, a former freelance Portland journalist has been found guilty of vandalizing multiple houses of worship and a black-owned business. 34-year-old Michael Bivens was convicted today of second-degree bias crime and arson. Authorities say in 2022, Bivens targeted 2 synagogues, a mosque, and a black-owned restaurant. Bivens was arrested after walking into a local news station and making anti-Semitic remarks, indicating his involvement in the crimes.
I hope that it sends the signal that we don't tolerate that in Portland. We don't tolerate that in Multnomah County, that these crimes are extremely serious. We take them seriously and we will prosecute them. And we will take this all the way to the end and seek justice.
Bivens is set to be sentenced in September. More than 30 years after a Washington County woman's murder, the case is being reopened. In 1994, 85-year-old Vita Hardebeck was found dead at her home in Gaston. At first, investigators thought it was natural causes, but an autopsy confirmed she was killed. The case went cold, and now 31 years later, it's getting a second look after the DA's office got a grant to search for new DNA.
This was so surprising to me when the police called and said they were opening the case. It really startled me because, to me, that was in the past. I was beyond that. Now they brought it all up again, and everything's kind of coming to light.
Hardebeck's daughter there. Hardebeck's case was one of more than a dozen eligible for review by a newly reopened cold case unit. And this is something you don't see every day. A man arrested in Columbia County for allegedly trying to break into jail. After being released from a DUI detox hold, he was recorded on video repeatedly kicking the front lobby door before shattering the glass. St. Helens police quickly arrested him. He is now charged with felony criminal mischief and, not surprisingly, is back in jail. Caught on camera, one burglary after another by a ring prosecutors say has been targeting local cannabis shops. We're talking some 24, and while 2 people have now been indicted, authorities say they are still working to track down the rest. John Adams has the story.
Cannabis industry leaders say crime targeting marijuana stores has been a plague on the industry since legalization in Oregon.
For years, cannabis businesses in Portland haven't felt protected. They haven't felt prioritized, and the consequences have been real.
Since the beginning of the year, the Multnomah County DA's office says over 24 cannabis stores have been burglarized. Many of the incidents look like this, with a vehicle smashing through the side of the building, followed by masked individuals grabbing anything they can. In many of these cases, the losses are substantial.
One business alone lost about $100,000 in product in one burglary. I've seen other losses up to $20,000, $50,000.
District Attorney Nathan Vasquez says his office is committed to protecting this industry that is often felt overlooked. On Wednesday, 2 indictments were handed down to individuals believed to be connected to a ring targeting cannabis stores in Oregon. Vasquez told us the ring contains roughly 10 people, and he's asking for the public's help identifying the rest of them.
The bottom line, the end, is that these are brazen criminals doing outrageous criminal acts, and they need to be held accountable.
A welcome sign for industry leaders who say shops have long felt like a target for criminal activity.
These indictments mark a major step forward towards addressing the violent robberies that have shaken Oregon's cannabis industry for years.
John Adams, KGW News.
New tonight, Oregon Senator Ron Wyden has extended an invitation to President Trump's border czar to attend one of his Multnomah County town halls. This comes after Tom Homan said on Fox News he plans to visit Portland following questions about protests and some criminal activity outside that South Portland ICE facility that have continued for weeks now. In a letter today, Wyden said it would be good for Homan to hear directly from Oregonians about what they think of the administration's immigration policies. Today in the nation's capital, Homan shared this message for protesters.
You have the right to protest. I support that. But when you cross a line on impeding us, you're going to be arrested. If you cross the line and putting hands on an ICE officer, zero tolerance, you're going to be arrested. So yell and scream all you want. You're not going to stop ICE from doing our job.
There you go. So far, Homeland Security has not confirmed Homan is visiting, and the mayor's office here says it has not received any communication. Meanwhile, Oregon's other senator, Jeff Merkley, confirmed today he plans to run for a 4th term. The Democrat said while the constant cross-country travel and separation from family is not easy, he wants to keep pushing back against the Trump administration and what he calls the Republicans' families lose, billionaires win agenda. Wyden, by the way, was reelected in 2022. All right, tonight in Texas Hill Country, crews are searching mile after mile of a debris-filled riverbed for the more than 170 people still missing following flash flooding that has now claimed at least 120 lives. President Trump will be visiting that area tomorrow, and tonight, for the first time, we're hearing a dispatch from a firefighter who wanted to call a code red to alert residents. Morgan Chesky has the latest.
Family comes first. This is what we're supposed to do. Nobody goes home till both of my parents are found.
Tonight in Texas, with more than 170 people still missing, searchers on a river offering little closure. Robert Brake Jr. on a mission to find his beloved mother, swept away alongside his father in Friday's deadly surge.
I would hold him and hug him, tell him I love him. Thank you for being such great parents. This is what I would tell him.
Amid questions about whether more could have been done to warn people, tonight new dispatch audio obtained by NBC Austin affiliate KXAN revealing a volunteer firefighter asked to send a code red alert at 4:22 on the morning of July 4th.
Is there any way we can send a code red out to our Hunt residents asking them to find higher ground or stay home?
10-4 standby. We have to get that approved with our supervisor.
It's unclear when the first alert went out to Code Red subscribers, though the mayor says the first notification he received was at 6 a.m., 90 minutes later. Local officials have not responded to NBC News' request for comment.
It was apocalyptic.
Lisa Miller visiting Camp Mystic today after her 3 daughters survived, sharing how a counselor saved her youngest as the waters rose.
And it got up to her shoulders. So her counselor put her on her back to keep her safe.
A former Mystic camper herself, Miller says her daughter linked arms with girls in her cabin to keep from floating away.
Holding hands kind of in a chain.
Her daughter describing the last words she heard from camp director, Dick Eastland.
Okay, you girls be safe. I'm going to go help Bubble in. And that's the last that they saw him.
Just a few of so many stories there. Morgan Chesky reporting 5 campers and 1 counselor at Camp Mystic, along with so many others, still remain missing.